Okay, question 13. So this is part A is a binomial expansion, and then part B just use part A to estimate the integral, and then part C we need to actually integrate it to find the exact value. Okay, let's try part A first. So first we have 3 plus x part negative 2. Since it's a negative power, we need to use the formula 1 plus x apart n. So because it's 1 plus x apart n the formula, so we need to factorize out 3 first. So I'll put a bigger bracket 3 and then small brackets 1 plus x over 3 and then the part negative 2, which becomes 3 to the part negative 2 and then 1 plus x over 3 to the part negative 2. So then 3 to the part negative 2 is 1 over 9 and then apply the expansion formula. So that would be 1 plus nx. That means it's negative 2 times x over 3, and then plus negative 2, negative 3 over 2 factorial, and then x over 3 squared. And then since they only want the first 3 terms, so we can stop here. So now we just simplify this. So 1 over 9, and then 1, so negative 2 times 1 over 3 is negative 2 over 3x, and then plus. So that would be something times by x squared. So we just have to work out the coefficient. So to work out a coefficient, what I normally do is I just put everything in the calculator. So in my calculator, I'll put negative 2, negative 3 over 2 factorial. And then instead of x, I change x into 1. So I put 1 over 3 squared. So I put all that in the calculator. So that should give us the coefficient of x squared straight away. So brackets negative 2 times brackets negative 3 over 2 factorial, and then times by 1 over 3 squared. So that would be just 1 over 3. And then times them out will give us the final answer for part A. So that would be 1 over 9 and then minus 2 over 27x and then plus 1 over 27x squared. Okay, and then part B. So use the answer in part A to estimate the value. So we have 0 0.4, 0 0.2, 6x over 3 plus x squared dx. So simplify that, we can change that into the index form, which is 6x times by 3 plus x part negative 2 dx. And then since we already know 3 plus x part negative 2 is just what we get in here. So we can change that first. So 0 0.4, 0 0.2, 6x in brackets 1 over 9 minus 2 over 27x, and then plus 1 over 27x squared dx. So expand it out, 0 0.4, 0 0.2, so 6 times by 1 over 9. That will simplify to 2 over 3, so 2 over 3x. And then 6 times by 2 over 27, which is 4 over 9. And then there's a negative, so negative 4 over 9x squared. And then 6 times by 1 over 27, which is 2 over 9. And this sum is positive, so positive 2 over 9x cubed dx. And then integrate that. So 2 over 3 doesn't change, plus 1 the power divided by the power. And negative 4 over 9 doesn't change, plus 1 the power divided by the power. And then 2 over 9 doesn't change, plus 1 the power divided by the power. And then the limits will be 0 0.4, 0 0.2. And then simplify this again. So that would be 1 over 3x squared and minus 4 over 27x cubed. And then plus 2 over 36, which we can simplify into 1 over 18 x part 4 with limits 0 0.4, 0 0.2. So now substitute everything in. So that would be 1 over 3 times 0 0.4 squared minus 4 over 27 times by 0 0.4 cubed, and then plus 1 over 18 times by 0 0.4 to the power 4, and then minus 1 over 3 times by 0 0.2 squared minus 4 over 27 times by 0 0.2 to the power 3, and then plus 1 over 18 times by 0 0.2 to the power 4. So put all that in the calculator. So let me see, 1 over 3 times 0.4 square minus 4 over 27 times by 0.4 cube, and then plus 1 over 18 times by 0.4 to the power 4, and then minus 1 over 3 times by 0.2 square, and then negative make it positive, so plus 4 over 27 times by 0.2 to the power 3, and then negative positive is negative 1 over 18 times by 0.2 to the power 4. So that will give us 223 over 6750, which is same as what they want, 4 significant figures, which is 0.03304 if we round it to 4 significant figures. Okay, part C, find using algebraic integration the exact value of 0.4, 0.2, so same integral as before. Yeah, and then give the answer in the form A ln B plus C. So for this one, there are a few ways to do this. So you can either use integration by substitution, because the reverse chain rule doesn't work, because the chain here is a linear expression, and then this is also a linear expression. So reverse chain rule doesn't work in here. So you can either use partial fraction, because this is a fraction, and then in the denominator is a double factor. So you can split them into 2 fractions and then integrate one by one. That's one way to do this. And then the other way to do this, you can just use integration by substitution. So in this question, I probably just use partial fraction. So, because it's quicker, I think, and you don't need to change the limits. So I will change that into A over 3 plus x, and then plus B over 3 plus x squared. So then 6x has to be A times by 3 plus x, and then plus B. Because the second fraction already have the same denominator as the first one. So you just have to times by 3 plus x for the first one. So then x equal to negative 3. Then we have negative 18 equal to B, because 3 minus 3 becomes 0. And then if we let x equal to 0, so then you just 0 equal to 3a, and then b is negative 18 minus 18. So that means a is just equal to 6. So now we know the integral will now change to 0.4, 0.2, and then a is 6, that'll be 6 over 3 plus x, and then b is negative 18, so minus 18 over 3 plus x squared dx. So first one we can integrate straight away, and then second one we just have to write this as minus 18 times 3 plus x part negative 2 dx. So that will integrate to 6 ln 3 plus x. So because this is a linear expression, and then the coefficient of x is 1, so we don't need to divide by anything. And then for the second one, negative 18, just negative 18. So again, this is a linear expression. We just plus 1 the power, divide by the power, and then the coefficient of x is 1, so we don't need to divide by anything extra. And then the limits will be 0.4 and 0.2. And then negative become positive, so just 18, positive 18, 3 plus x part negative 1. So let me just write in the second line. So 6 ln 3 plus x, and then plus 18 over 3 plus x, if we rewrite it. And then same limits as before, 0.4, 0.2. So now substitute in, that would be 6 ln 3.4 plus 18 over 3 plus 3, 0.4 is 3.4. And then minus 6 ln 3.2, and then plus 18 over 3.2. So then that would be just 6 ln 3.4 minus 6 ln 3.2, and then plus 18 over 3.4 minus 18 over 3.2. So then factorize 6, that would be 6 ln 3.4 minus ln 3.2. And in the second half, we can just put in the calculator. 18 over 3.4 minus 18 over 3.2, which is negative 45 over 136. And then this part, if we simplify, so ln 3.4 minus ln 3.6 is just same as ln 3.4 divided by 3.2, which is 17 over 16. So then that would be the final answer. So in this case, A is 6, B is 17 over 16, and C will be negative 45 over 136. So 5 marks. And then if we want to use integration by substitution, so that's also fine. So I will probably let u equal to 3 plus x to do the substitution.
Thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, you can leave some comment. And then if you find the video helpful, please like it and subscribe it. May the A star be with you.